Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel, so thank you very much for your support. So, let's catch up on a few things since my last video. So let's go by subject. So let's think about the Federal Reserve. You remember what I told you last video? That all of a sudden you're going to start seeing Fed people talking about rate cuts, that they were applying for a job. Guess what? Today Michelle Bauman did the same thing, that rate cuts should come as soon as July. So congratulations for the ones following the channel. In case, sometimes I think it's important to point these things out before they happen. As I mentioned, the other guy asking for rate cuts was applying for a job, and you're gonna see more people applying for a job as the Fed chairman or chairwoman. And there you go. Here there is another person advocating for rate cuts as part of the Fed. Basically, it's signaling to Trump, pick me and I'll lower your rates. That's what they're doing. So let's take out that subject from the get-go. Let's tackle that. Then we had, of course, the US attacks on the nuclear sites over the weekend. I actually feel a little bit sad that I didn't record earlier today, because I wanted to say that this was giving me a lot of Soleimani vibes back in 2020. In case you don't know, back in 2020, Trump was president, and the US killed the number two guy of the regime, the head of the military. Iran promised a big retaliation. They basically struck US bases that were empty to basically show retaliation, but it was all a performance. There was actually no intention of hitting any casualties, and I was getting the feeling that this time around was going to be the same. And basically, it was exactly what it was. So Iran apparently called Qatar, saying, hey, we're going to attack those bases in like an hour. So, prepare yourselves. So all for the show, for the performance, so they can sell to their own people that they've punished the evil people. And I guess my feeling and my hope is that we can now move into peace. I would like to see eventually a path that would take out the incentives of Iran to continue this funding of all the most terrible organizations you can imagine on the planet. And maybe one day the sanctions can be alleviated and Iran can prosper as a great economic power, just like, for example, the UAE and Qatar and Saudi Arabia have become, and Oman and Bahrain. All those countries in that region have become very prosperous. And I do hope Iran one day, for the Iranian people, can get there. That's my sincere hopes, and that nobody dies, as you guys always know, right? It's always my position. Now, I need to give you this example from the media because it's very relevant. I talk about a lot of things which are theoretical or kind of subjective at the time that I talk about them. But when they happen in real time, it's important for me to flag them so you can see it and say, okay, I recognize what he's been saying. I can see it now. I get it. See what I mean? So if you go on Twitter, CNBC, Financial Times, The Economist, doesn't matter, is Iran is going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to close it. So it's this little narrow place on the map in which 20% of global oil travels, right? And oh my God, they're going to close it. Oil price is going to go through the roof. Natural gas, there's not going to be enough oil. It's going to be a terrible disaster. Oil, $100. Oil, $200. Oil, $300. We've heard all of it, right? Toom, non-stop. Now, if they close that strait, would it be impactful? Yes. The question is, can they actually do it if they want it? That's the first question. Meaning, I've said this before. I'm not a military specialist or anything like that. But if countries can send planes in and out your country with no resistance, in the modern world, I have no idea how you can win a battle against that. I can't see it. But again, I'm not a military specialist, but I'm just, I've played enough video games to know a little bit basis of war, and I don't know how you do it if the other side has complete air supremacy. I have no idea, particularly with the modern equipment. Then, let's play the game. Let's assume that they can block the strait, etc. Now, here would be, which questions would you have when you read this? Oh my God, this is like a strait in a very narrow part of the world, like thousands of miles from me. What does that mean, right? What is that? How many times, is this the first time this is going to be blocked? How many times has this strait been blocked in the past? And then you would find out that Iran has threatened to close that strait, I think 12 or 13 times already. Now your follow-up question is, okay, but how many times did they do it? 0. Oh, that seems like a little bit of important information. Why don't you tell me that in the article? Okay, but I mean, if they did it, let's assume that this time they're gonna do it. I'm sure they're gonna, it's gonna be a devastating blow to the US, right? It's gonna be terrible. How much oil does the US, get from that region, from that area? How much oil? Oh, it's about 2 to 5% of imports. What? 2 to 5% of imports only? And can those imports be easily replaceable with imports from Angola, Mozambique, Brazil, Canada, or even ramping up of its own production? Oh, it is. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, but look, I saw Iran going to Russia. Russia basically gave them words of encouragement, and that's it. So, what is Iran's number one ally? A trading partner, like the people who fund Iran's economy. Who are they? Oh, China. Okay, how much of the oil imports go to China from that region? 45 to 50%. Okay, 45 to 50%. So you mean to tell me that you think Iran is going to close a strait that impacts 2 to 5% of US imports while harming their number one partner who imports 45 to 50% from the same region? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't see it. Is it impossible? No. It is possible. Is it likely? I'll let you decide. But don't you think that this is information, context, that people should read? Why is this hidden from you? Like, if you search for it, you'll find it. But why is it not presented to you? The answer is very simple. Click and views, ratings. The way they get that is put you in a permanent state of fear and panic and crisis so they can sell whatever they're selling to you. That's it. And fear sells. And on YouTube, you won't hear any of this because it's also not very helpful. You see, I could have used this information and spent 3 or 4 videos explaining how can this be the worst thing since the World War II, right? I could spend dozens of hours talking about it, but I have a little bit of integrity and I can do it. Okay? By the way, oil prices are now lower than the first Israeli attack. Yes, you got played again. With the fear, with the nightmare, with the oh my God, the world is ending kind of scenario. And most likely, in a year from now, this will be a distant memory. Just like most people don't even remember about Soleimani back in 2020. I think it's going to be something similar. So stocks ripped, bonds are going up, yields are coming down. This is all good news. The dollar is kind of down and oil prices are coming down. I think oil prices will eventually go to the somewhere between mid 40s to max $60 within that range over the next 24 months. Now, is it going to be tomorrow? No. By the way, important thing, Goldman Sachs was already predicting oil at $100 and all the hedge funds as well. Last time that happened was September 28th of September 2023. If you check the charts, oil hit $95 and basically crashed from there. Never touched the 90 handle ever again. And all of these people were predicting the oil was going to go to $150 and all of these kind of things. And as I've said, liquidity is going up, continuously going up. Financial conditions are at the moment softening a bit as well. That's all good news. Stocks are very close to new all-time highs. Bitcoin, my God, actually, very important before I forget. Last night we hit fear in CoinMarketCap with the Fear and Greed Index. We hit fear with Bitcoin above 100K. So it was 107.50 or so. That's the difference. Last time we hit fear, we were at 70K. Now we are hitting fear, 74, 75. Now we are hitting fear at 100K. And one day we're going to hit fear at 150K. That's the point. The fear keeps getting hit while the price keeps on going up. That's very important to know. Now, I continue to follow the liquidity cycle. To me, it's the most important. Can we have sell-offs? Yes. Can we have short-term crises and noises? Yes. Can we have even multi-month down movements? Yes. But as long as the currency keeps getting debased, I'm willing to bet that asset prices will go up with any meaningful time period. Oh, but this week was down. Sure. It's possible that it goes down a few weeks. Oh, but we went up 100%, 100%, 100%, and this year we went down 10%. This is a disgrace. Sure. I mean, yes, I can imagine that we're not going to go up every single year. That there's going to be times where things are going to go down. But here we are. Russia and Ukraine. Tariffs, oil prices going up, Iran and Israel, Israel and Gaza. Will China do something about Taiwan? Will China do something about Taiwan? And here we are with asset prices close to new all-time highs, despite the underground conditions in the real world being much worse than they were a few years ago. But what happened? Deficit spending, money printing over the years, and global liquidity going up, and eventually asset prices play catch up. Now get ready, because in the maybe we have 3 weeks of quiet, but then here comes another crisis. Oh my God, July 9, the tariff deadline. It's gonna be, the world is ending again. Here we go again to the carousel. And most people will get annihilated, and people will put quotations of the Bible on Twitter and do all of this kind of stuff. And guess what? In 6 months' time, we are still here. It is what it is. But I like to take advantage to showcase and highlight these real-life examples so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And with that, thank you very much for your support, guys. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.